Alright, let's see if that did it. Can you see and or hear me right now, chat? Let me know. Alright, thanks Claire. Welcome everybody once again to Paleontologizing. And welcome to the wild and beautiful desert of eastern Utah, out here near the town of Moab. I'm really glad you're here, because we are digging up bones left, right, and center, like I said in the Go Live message, I guess. So many bones are coming out, and we are pretty excited about that. We're digging up what is almost certainly a new species or new genus of iguanodont dinosaur. And, yeah, I'm really happy to be able to share this with you. I'm, of course, working with the Utah Geological Survey out here on public land, Bureau of Land Management, federal public land, in fact. And this dinosaur is going to be at the Natural History Museum of Utah before you know it. Well, not before you know it. It's going to take a while to get this thing cleaned and studied and published on, but with any luck, you'll be able to see it there someday. I don't know, we'll see. But I'm really glad you're here, everybody. Claire Burr, thank you. Mayor of Space, hello Kitty Cat, Cosmological Kev, DM Wing, how are you doing? Hello. Sora Fajanax, how are you doing? It's good to have you here. Welcome, everybody. If you're here for the very first time, then let me introduce myself to you real quick. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. And I'm here on Twitch trying to do some good old-fashioned science outreach. You know? So what does that mean? How do you do science outreach on a platform like Twitch? Well, in this case, I'm live streaming a real-life dinosaur dig. Allowing you to ask questions and get your answers in real time. Just trying to walk you through this whole thing, show you how it works, you know? It's a principle of mine. I try and show rather than tell, if it's possible. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. So don't be shy with your questions, whether it's about dinosaurs, which is my personal area of expertise. Dinosaurs are what I study, what I publish on in the scientific literature, what I dig up out here. Or whether you've got questions pertaining to broader topics, you know? The history of life on Earth, extinction, evolution, or the very philosophy of science. If you've got questions about any of that stuff, don't hesitate to ask. It's the whole point of these broadcasts, you know? It's what makes this different, and in my opinion, better than something like a YouTube video, you know? It's that live interactivity. Makes this pretty special. Gonna go down to the quarry in just a minute, and yeah, I'll show you what's going on. You can see the rest of the crew. But, yeah. And Ambus418, how are you doing? Hello. Got thoughts on Plato? Not really. Pooji, he was kind of, you know, he lived a little while ago. I don't know, I never met the guy. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure he was great for his time, though. And, I don't know what you mean, Minutus M, what? Anywho, let me go get some water and show you what I'm working on, what we're all working on here. Of course, I'm broadcasting to you live via satellite right now. There's the dish, and I got to turn those panels around. Forgot to do that. Make sure we're getting enough juice. Put these in line with the sun. There we go. That should be a lot better. Excellent. And let's see. Fake Do It says, can I ask whether the Utah dig here was specific for the new genus, or was it semi-lucky, or why this site? So, this is a really, really special place, actually. This little valley here has what seem to be some of the oldest Cretaceous dinosaurs in North America, or in the Northern Hemisphere, really. So these rocks are from the very beginning of the Cretaceous period. Some of these go way back to the Berriasian stage, according to Jim in the quarry. He'll probably talk about that a little bit later. So, because of the age of these rocks, just about anything that we find here stands a pretty good shot at being new. And given the number of bones that we've gotten out of this quarry so far that have already been studied, they seem to pertain to a new animal. There's unique characteristics about them no other dinosaur has. And so, yeah, Jim and Don and some other folks were out here prospecting a number of years ago. They stumbled upon this area with all of these bones coming out. There are bones from all over the floor of this valley here. And this particular site we've been working since 2022. I said that incorrectly the other day. I said 2021 or something. It was 2022. I was here for the very beginning of that back in 2022, which was pretty cool. I didn't realize that that was the outset. But Jim and Don corrected me about that today, so that's neat. I've been working this particular site, this one little hole right here, basically, for as long as, I was here on the crew, I should say, when this site was being opened, this particular quarry that we're digging right now. So it feels pretty good to be in on the ground floor, But anyway, we're pretty lucky that this seems to be a new critter. It's exciting. I hope you're as excited about them as I am. Yeah. And Wizard of Lizard, we do not use shotgun shells to take seismic readings. No. That method was tried back in the late 80s, early 90s. Doesn't work. Yeah. So we do things the old-fashioned way, digging by hand. And, well, yeah. You wouldn't expect that sort of thing to work anyway, because the bones are pretty much the same density as the surrounding rock most of the time. Yeah. And, yeah. Everybody do need digs in Maryland? No, not yet, RDA, but they're at a place called Dinosaur Park in Maryland. In the, I think it's the Arundel Formation. They're digging up some really cool stuff. So Maryland is becoming a hotspot for dinosaurs, which is pretty neat. Yeah. And those are just a little bit younger than these. I think that's like maybe Cloverleaf equivalent. Yeah. Hey, Jim, the stuff in the Arundel in Maryland, is that equivalent to the Cloverleaf of Montana?
Pretty much.
In age? Yeah.
Yeah.
So younger than these rocks. Yeah.
Yeah. Well younger. Yeah, it's definitely a Cloverleaf fauna.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
But
so
it's got, it's got the biggest ankylosaur teeth, the Priacodon known on the planet.
That's nuts.
I mean, they're like that big across.
Shoot.
It's huge.
How big would that animal be? If,
I don't know. Maybe it has really big teeth.
Huh.
We don't know enough.
Yeah,
We got osteoderms. Just trying to get more of it in this, these more recent digs. So he had a big vertebrate, thought was, but I'm betting it's sauropod. But
yeah.
If it was, it'd be nuts.
Pretty neat. Pretty neat.
Nuts
So
is fun.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, anything cool and crazy is going to be interesting scientifically. Yeah. Yeah, so if this is your first time joining us, that's Utah State paleontologist Jim Kirkland right there in the green shirt. Don DeBlue is busy doing some mapping, so we won't bother him too much. We got Ethan, we got Fisher, and we got Nick over here too. And we've got bones coming out all over the place. Everything that you see that's white like this, that's already got a top jacket on it. So we make these protective plaster and burlap jackets, like a protective cocoon that we put around the fossil to bring it safely back to the laboratory, keep it from crumbling. That's what these are for. And then Jim's actually working on some bones in situ over here. Already showed off that sternal the other day on stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the sternal. There. Another chunk of bone. Chunkosaurus there. And the blade of the pubis, one of the hanging down bones on the pelvis, coming down like this.
Nice.
And then the process probably going up underneath it there.
That's huge.
That's a big one. It's going for this big animal.
Yeah, yeah.
And then under here is a toe bone. That's pretty nice going in. Right this is an ossified tendon, I think.
Nice.
Going across there. I just started seeing some bone right here that's right tied to this. So, a little playing with that. But yeah, trying to figure out how to come around. It's obviously around there, through here. So I'm trying to take this area down.
Nice.
So I can define the aerial extent of these bones. So it'll have multiple bones in this jacket, certainly.
Right. It's going to be a big jacket.
Not huge. I mean, but
I'm big for this quarry, I guess,
significant.
Yeah.
But it's nice stuff. I mean, there's some really nice bones.
Yeah.
And this will certainly go into the description of this taxa.
Nice. Yeah, Pubis, that's something we can kind of cross-reference with Iguana colossus and show how different they are.
And sharing. Well, but the thing with this guy is it expands laterally, you know, as it goes up distally, and it's pretty much parallel all the end.
Yeah.
Guanaclossus, as far as we can tell. And you know, its ilia, the pre-pubic process, you know, bends down pretty sharply. And this one's fairly straight. I mean, there's a lot of characters.
Yeah.
You know, but the upward curve that we thought linked them together is shared with Camptosaurus in the Jurassic. It's a primitive character.
Yeah.
So it's lost, and what gives rise to more derived iguanodonts. But this is so early, you know, you would expect to see features that we have in Camptosaurus. This thing probably doesn't have a thumb spike.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's real big, but it's a big animal.
Awesome. Yeah.
And we got lots of them. it'll be a keystone species someday.
Right. And we've got multiple individuals from this quarry. They're all scattered. They're all disarticulated.
Oh, we have
Bones
some
all fell
articulated stuff.
We got some articulated stuff?
Yeah, we got a full fit vertebral column. Glenn is a very juvenile, fully articulated.
I meant from this particular quarry
here, from right here. The Germans got certainly, you know, stretch of verts and ribs and things that went to one animal together.
Yeah.
You know, we got this adult stuff that's in here, really big. Some of that's going to certainly individuals. They're not being washed in from a long distance.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You know, so it's, you know, the ankylosaurs, you know, 3 of them, and they're kind of overlapping, but they're all in the same area. I wish we'd find one here.
Yeah. Salamander wants to know what parts of the body besides the tail form ossified tendons.
No, they go up on the back too.
Yeah.
You know, well up, you know, across the whole hips, down the tail.
Something's up into the dorsals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I tend to think these are probably dorsals. These, and I'm not sure so much the dons.
So those are ossified tendons from the back of the animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they go real rod-like, but then they have like a blade-like end where they overlap. And that seems to be more for something you see in dorsals. But people don't figure tendons well.
Right, yeah.
You know, Mymora pelta has ossified tendons, and they're, even though they're flattened in side view, they're very spindle-shaped. Points of both ends are pretty wide in the middle. So they're really spindle, and those are the dorsals of this armored dinosaur.
Yeah.
Very distinctive. It's an area people just don't look at it much.
Yeah. People kind of take it for granted, yeah. I mean, because oftentimes when you find them in a quarry like this, especially if the animal's disarticulated, there's just tendon all over the place, and like...
And there's not much you can do with them.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, disarticulated.
Yeah, so to explain that, when we're talking about ossified tendon, chat, that's, you know, like tendons in the animal that turn to bone. They ossify through ontogeny. So during the animal's lifetime, they would actually turn to bone. So they wouldn't be bone when the animal is real small and young, but as the animal grows and develops, those tendons actually, they ossify, they turn to bone, they stiffen, and that's probably to help hold up the tail, kind of, you know, stiffen the spine of the animal. Yeah, when you're a big critter walking around, you got to have adaptations like that to keep yourself from falling apart, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Here, let me go put the... Well, let me grab some water and then put the camera down and get back to work. Yeah. Let's see here. There you go, salamander. Nice. What's the old phrase? Boss makes a dollar, I make a dime. That's why I watch Paleontologizing on company time. Shout out to everybody watching at work right now. I hope your day is going quickly at least. Yeah. Hugon wants to know, does Utah have any ornitholestes? I want to say ornitholestes has only been found in Wyoming so far. I think there's only like one good specimen of that critter that's available for scientific study. Who knows how many are available, or how many are in private collections. But yeah, I think it's just Osborne's original specimen is like the only good one we've got. Described in like, you know, the early 20th century. Alright. Let's hope the signal goes to there okay. I'm just gonna set this down right here. Let's go back to work. And to answer your earlier question, Wizard of Lizard, I don't think it snows very much here during the winter. Further north it would snow a lot more, I would imagine.
Probably get some. You get plenty of snow.
Get plenty of snow here?
I mean, not like feet of snow.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably snow.
I don't know, I've never been here in the winter.
Probably gets cold much this way.
Yeah. Here, let me adjust this.
It'll be pleasant.
Okay, so right here, I've got that humerus, that upper arm bone from a few days ago. I put a proper jacket on it today, so that's feeling pretty well protected. And I was trenching around this to get ready to flip it, and then I found another bone over here. And so what I'm going to do is kind of cut around this, see if I can get this out. Or, you know, maybe I'll do this first, actually. Because I could be pretty sure that this thing is going to have a decent flip. If I undercut it enough, I can flip it over without worry of everything falling out from underneath. So that's what I'll be working on today. Yeah.
Wrap map.
And no, I've never found any opalized fossils out here, or anywhere really. I don't know how common they are in North America. Every time I think of opalized fossils, I always think of Australia.
Like those games where you
Around like Cooper Pedy and places like that.
carnival. Squirt guns. You can fill up the mouth and blow up the balloon.
Never heard of those.
Never saw it? So yeah, they've got like a whole line across, right? And you've got like these targets. It's usually like that.
And why don't we use knee pads? Because they get really sweaty, and you know, in a hot climate like this, you know, pillows are just better, and that way you can kind of lie down on them, put your elbow on them, whatever else. It's just a lot more versatile. And cheaper too.
Oh, yeah.
Not
blowing up.
These are years old pillows here. I've been using these for years and years. And I might even have one to contribute this year, actually. Because I've got a really cheapo pillow I got at the beginning of the summer in Wyoming. And I really don't need to take that home. I've got plenty of pillows at home, so I can donate it to the cause here. and legum core. There are some cases wherein paleontologists and archaeologists will work together, but it tends to be in rocks that are much, much, much more recent than this. So these rocks here are about 140 million years old, from the beginning of the Cretaceous period, like the very beginning. And I don't know. In order to get to a place where you've got paleontology and archaeology kind of overlapping, you got to go to more recent stuff, maybe like late Pleistocene. Archaeology is, you know, as you well know, but not everybody in chat does necessarily. Archaeology is the study of, you know, human artifacts, human culture, sometimes human remains. It's people stuff. Paleontology is the study of fossils, so it tends to be older on average by a significant margin. But yeah, but there are. Well, shoot, there's somebody here in the quarry who works on both. Works alongside archaeologists, and that's Nick right here to my right, or to my left from your perspective. So anyway, Nick works down in Southern California, doing paleo monitoring, and yeah, it's got archaeologists on site as well. Anytime there's like a big construction project, Nick, you could explain this a lot better than I could, but I don't necessarily want to put you on the spot. I don't know.
If you'd like me to, that's fine.
Sure, yeah, that'd be cool. If you want to talk about that a little bit. Yeah, different perspective here.
Hello. Yeah. My name's Nick Oliver. I'm a cultural resource monitor in California. So I basically during big construction projects, they hire me and archaeologists and biologists to make sure they don't destroy fossils or human artifacts or anything like that while they're building stuff.
Yeah.
So I basically sit around and watch them dig holes all day. Wait for them to dig up fossils.
You make it sound like a really easy, sweet gig, but I'm sure there's a lot more. There's more frustrating aspects to the job too.
Oh sure, yeah. I mean, I'm not complaining, but there's definitely a lot of stuff that comes along with it that is pretty frustrating.
Yeah.
And demanding. So, like digging out a fossil in 113-degree weather in the summer is not ideal.
Yeah, with no shade tarps.
No shade. Yeah, in a trench that's not safe. You know?
Yeah. Jeez.
And you're pushed. You have a timeline to get it out by. It's not like take your sweet time. You have to do it as fast as possible.
Right. Yeah.
So.
What's your favorite kind of fossil? I already know this, but I'm asking for the camera. Favorite kind of fossil that you've dug up out there so far? Like, what are you interested in?
Favorite would be that I've dug up out there. I don't know. I've dug up a lot of cool stuff, but tortoise. Yeah, Pleistocene tortoise.
Nice. Are they like the ancestors of today's desert tortoises out there, or is it just a different group?
No, they are.
That's pretty cool.
The ancestors of the contemporary tortoise out there.
That's neat. So they actually did pretty well during the Pleistocene. Like that group didn't just blink out of existence like a lot of the other megafauna.
No, yeah, the tortoises are very robust, very durable. So they somehow keep making it.
Right. How big do they get?
The biggest one that I've probably dug up is, I don't know, probably about this big.
That's a big honking turtle.
It's huge.
Nice.
Yeah, we called it Mama Rose. And it was giant. It took us about a week to get out.
Shoot.
Yeah, working in a Pleistocene alluvium is not nice like this. Pleistocene alluvium is totally unconsolidated.
Yeah, it's just loose crud everywhere.
Right, so keeping everything together and articulated is a challenge. So it takes a while.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that as much as I could. I might be working in some Pleistocene alluvium when I get back home to California this fall. We'll see. I do like a challenge, and it will be a challenge. But you know, it'll be nice being able to like go home at the end of every day, I guess.
Perfect place for
I don't know if you could hear chat, but Don said, "Yeah, perfect place for an oyster knife." Don does not like oyster knives in the quarry. Yeah.
I have one right here. After dinner.
Yeah. Any idea what that bone is? Somebody in the chat is asking. The one that you're jacketing right now.
Yeah, I believe subvert.
Oh, nice.
I don't know of what.
Yeah, probably an iguanodont. I mean, just based on the numbers, but
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. There we go, Linnea, yeah. Uncle Don with the burn there. That oyster knives.
Somebody's paying attention.
Yeah. Oh, what's the running shirt of the day, by the way?
Terra Trail Run.
Let me pick up the camera. Yeah.
One of the more recent ones, only 2024.
Xterra. Is that
10
like
years ago?
like Nissan Xterra?
Yeah, Xterra. The main Xterra thing is actually the off-road triathlon, where they do
Oh, okay.
mountain biking and trail running.
So unrelated to the
Swimming.
Nissan SUV.
No, I think it was originally probably
Okay,
something put
sponsored
on
thing.
by-
They do seem to be really popular in
Yeah,
Utah. That
and
particular
I
make
think
and
I
model.
did the 10K. Looks like they did 21.
Nice.
10
Did the
5.
Nissan name it after that, or vice versa?
Yeah, I think they were originally maybe
Sponsored it or something.
sponsored by
Yeah.
Xterra. I don't
Makes
know
sense.
if they
It looks like
still-
the same font.
I don't know if they still have a relationship with them or not. but
Yeah.
They still do the Xterra off-road triathlons. Still really popular.
Oh, cool.
I mean, they have professional circuit and stuff like that all around the world.
Yeah. Neat.
Actually, some of the Europeans are quite good at it.
Nice. And I just want to clear up quality pith helmet. It's hard to find an actual pith helmet nowadays. This is just a sun helmet. But you can get these at military surplus stores, or Fisher actually got one as a gift from a former mail carrier, which is pretty neat. Super authentic. Yeah, it's a...
So we could be like his daddy.
Yeah, my son Fisher over here, working next to me today. SVP shirt. That should do it. Yeah. Chat saying hi, Fisher.
Hi, chat.
Love how our family is growing. Papa Jim, Uncle Don, and the son, Fisher. Yeah, it's one big happy family here.
Ontogeny.
Cool. I want to show off that bone later on, on camera if you want, but I don't want to interrupt your gluing right now.
You've got something coming on in here. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, all this stuff over here and right here.
Mm-hmm. SW's Gut says, what's the plan for today? Digging. Finding more bones. So I've got this humerus, this upper arm bone right here in this jacket. And I'm trying to undercut it so that I can flip it. And it'd be nice if I could do that on stream today. So, see if that happens. But, yeah. Jody Fish says, with all due respect, Jim has the most ear-catching voice at range. He bellows even at a whisper. Jim has got quite the voice on him. Yeah, absolutely. Excellent public speaker. Jim demands attention. in the best way.
One of our favorite pastimes, trying to imitate him. Fisher is the best at this part.
Yeah. Salamander says, I needed to take notes from Jim on how to project for real, for real. Yeah?
Most of us just do imitations of Fisher imitating Jim.
Yeah. It's kind of a funny thing that happens, like when you hear a good impression of somebody, you know, be they a person in your normal life or like a celebrity or movie character or something, like you're usually doing an impression of that impression. Like when you hear somebody else do it, it's almost like, you know, someone's figured out the code for it. Makes it a lot easier than like just trying to imitate them from life, I guess. I don't know why that is. I guess because it's kind of a caricature, so it takes whatever makes that person's voice unique, and it just amplifies it. Makes it much easier to like try an imitation, try an impression yourself. Yeah. And how long does it take to train a volunteer to be useful on a dig site?
Years.
Don's like,
cases,
I don't know, I've never done
in many
it.
cases, never. Train or successfully train?
Now we'll get people who come out here for just like a day or two, and can usually find useful things for them to do, whether it's overburden or I don't know, clearing rubble, that sort of thing. But with like brand new folks, oftentimes you got to keep an eye on them if they get close to a bone as they're digging. Shoot, with some of us, you got to keep an eye on us when we get close to a bone while we're digging. But yeah, I don't know. I've been doing this since 2011, so I've been doing paleontological fieldwork every summer since 2011, except for 2020. It was my one no fieldwork year because of COVID. But I've got a good deal of experience, but every site is different. You always got to be careful. Like, you don't want to get overconfident, ever. Or you run the risk of messing things up. Never pretend like you know everything, because it's... yeah. The rocks and the fossils will surprise you.
Yeah, actually, fragment comes from my hand. Looks like right here. Feel free to.
And Nazoon says, how often do you have an oopsie and damage a fossil? It happens. I mean, sometimes we call those discovery marks. But yeah, I was just digging over here earlier, this little white cap that I put on here. Just lifting some rock, and then bam, there's some bone. Just clinging to the underside of that rock, and then as I'm pulling it up, like little fragments are falling off, and I've got those in here right now, so I've collected all of them. And then most of the bone is still intact under there, but we're not really sure what it is. And it might be particularly susceptible to falling apart just because it's, I don't know, it kind of looks like it was crushed prior to fossilization. Or maybe it's just like a weirdo looking skull bone. We've got some differences of opinion on that in the quarry, but you know, either way we're going to collect it and we'll figure it out in the lab.
Some damage is usually more likely than not.
Yeah, yeah.
Every once in a while you hit something just perfectly.
And the important thing is that, like, you slow down, you stop, try and figure out what's going on, and you limit the damage as much as possible. And that takes some skill and some experience, too. Being able to, you know, salvage the smallest little pieces that come off. But yeah, and hopefully you prevent that in the first place by just digging slowly and carefully. But occasionally that kind of damage is just more or less unavoidable.
Did you want a number on this, or did you have this logged with a number or anything, Don?
Not yet, but I can give it one in a bit, yeah.
Okay.
Got it mapped with this.
And how hard is it to distinguish bone from rock that's so old?
Depends on the site.
Yeah, it depends on the site and like the particular lithology and the area of the quarry that you're digging. So like, let me show you over here what Fisher's got going. That's cool.
Yeah.
He's putting some glue on some of this. So we've got bone there, we've got bone here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is also bone here.
There's some bone there.
Quite difficult to distinguish.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was
so
bone
bone,
until I flipped it
rock,
up and saw the
bone.
underside of it.
Yeah.
This is bone here, which was connected to this thing, which is more obvious, but this up here isn't particularly clear.
Right.
This is
now they'll be
bone.
working that way, and they want
Yeah, that's beautiful over there.
And then,
Nice.
yeah, down here there's pretty clear orange.
Yeah. So as long as you get that distinct color difference, I'll move the encoder over so we can actually see. Yeah, sometimes it's pretty obvious. It gets a little bit more obvious once you put glue on the bone too. It helps distinguish it from the surrounding rock that doesn't have glue on it. But yeah, that brown splotch there is bone. It almost to me looks like a neural spine. Or...
Yeah, and then this here is probably the transverse process.
Yeah, nice. Very vertebral. Yeah. So, yeah, it's not really the age of the rock and bone that makes it difficult to distinguish rock from bone. It's how the bone is preserved, what kind of rock it's in, you know. And that's very much like a case-by-case thing. You know, in this particular quarry, it's a little tricky. So a lot of this bone is pretty rocky looking. But, I don't know, in other places it can be like a day and night difference between rock and bone. So yeah, again, it all depends. This right here. Gosh, dude. And like that occasionally does work, the like sticking bone to your tongue to see if it's bone or not. But it's not really something that we're doing here. That's almost like a parlor trick kind of a thing that you show if you have like donors in the quarry or like somebody visiting. It's like a neat thing that you can do to show them. But it's usually, it works better with the interior of bone because it's got that trabecular texture. Like that kind of spongy texture. And because it's spongy like that, the sponginess kind of like sticks to your tongue in the same way that a dry sponge would. But, you know, it's not really a good field method to go around trying to like lick everything that you see to determine whether it's rock or bone. It's just not practical, as you would imagine. And SW Scott says, do dinosaurs taste good? Well, shoot, do you eat chicken or turkey or cheese or whatever other kinds of birds people eat? I don't know. Do, and you enjoy that, then yeah, you clearly think dinosaurs taste good. Birds are living dinosaurs. So I don't know, what do you think? I'm not really a meat guy myself, but a lot of people are. It's funny. When we were at the store yesterday getting groceries, there was this box of like plastic dinosaurs up by the cash register. And there's a little plastic goose in there too, with all the stegosaurs and ceratopsians and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, darn right. That's a theropod. It belongs in the dinosaur box. And Calculus Centrifugal says, are lizards also dinosaurs? They're not. No. So they belong to a different group of reptiles apart from dinosaurs. Here, let me grab you a quick little visual aid and show you. Here we are. So I think a lot of people in the general public have this impression that, like, dinosaur just means like a big extinct animal. And that's very much not true. Dinosaurs are a very specific group of critters. The way that we classify living things as scientists is not based on what they look like. That's not based on vibes or whatever. It's based on ancestry. So when we say that two creatures are closely related to each other, what we mean is that they actually share a recent common ancestor. So they both evolved from the same ancestor not too long ago. If they're more distantly related, then you've got to go further back in time to find their common ancestor. All living things on Earth, as far as we can tell, descended from one single common ancestor about 4 billion years ago, something like that. Give or take a few, you know. But all living things are related, but certain things are more closely related to other things, and that means that they share a more recent common ancestor. So for dinosaurs, everything that evolves from that ancestral dinosaur, about 230, 240 million years ago, somewhere in there, everything that evolves from that critter is a dinosaur. That's why birds up here are dinosaurs. But crocodiles are not dinosaurs. They evolved from common ancestor with dinosaurs further back, but they're not dinosaurs themselves. They didn't evolve from that dinosaur ancestor. Likewise with lizards up here. Got your chameleon and your Komodo dragon and mosasaur and your snake over here. These are all part of Squamata. They're part of the lizard group. So those diverged pretty far back in time. They're not on the same, they're not part of the dinosaur branch of the family tree, if that makes sense. Crocs are a lot closer to dinosaurs than lizards are, by the way. But yeah. And Pujil says, what's up with octopuses? I heard they're not related to anything else. No, they definitely are. Yeah, they're mollusks. So they're closely related to, in the grand scheme of things, they're closely related to other cephalopods, things like squid, cuttlefish, nautilus, critters like that. And then more distantly, they're related to other mollusks, things like snails, clams, etc. So yeah. Some of the particularities of octopus ancestry might be a little difficult to answer because octopus don't have a great fossil record from what I understand. They mostly have soft parts, so we don't have a fantastic fossil record for octopus. You know, we've got much better records for things like ammonites with their coiled shell. They've got hard parts there that are easier to fossilize. Not so for an octopus. But that's not to say that we don't know where octopus come from or like, oh, what are they related to? We've got a pretty good handle on that. Yeah. Yeah. No, octopus are definitely not aliens. No. Yeah. Yeah. On this side, and down over there. Oh yeah, and I saw that earlier, Dinosaur Dave, that new T-Rex size estimate paper. Interesting stuff. I guess just like using stats and comparing them to like size stats on American alligators. It's an interesting idea. Didn't have a chance to actually read the paper yet, but I read the abstract this morning. Yeah, did you see that, Jim?
He's got his little fan on.
Oh, okay. I don't want to bother him. Yeah. Oh, and there you go, Golkanek. Yeah, Tuatara are an interesting example of this group that used to be around. Used to be pretty widespread and no longer. And Calculus Centrifugal asks, why do some organisms have much longer strands of DNA? Like a much larger genome? Yeah. Like I heard a flower in Japan was like this. Yeah, there's certain creatures that have enormous genomes. So like among vertebrate animals with backbones, I think some of the critters with the longest genome, the most like base pairs of DNA, is lungfish. Like I think African and South American lungfish might have the longest genomes of any vertebrate. And sometimes they have these duplication events where just like the whole genome just duplicates. They've got twice as much DNA. Yeah, I don't know what the... I was going to say what the purpose for that is, but you know, it doesn't have to have a purpose. It just happens. It's nature. It's probably one of those things that just happens and it's not detrimental, so it just sticks around. Yeah. But smaller genomes might actually have benefit in the sense that it seems like flying animals, birds and bats and flying insects tend to have smaller genomes than their non-volant, their non-flying relatives. So that might actually be an adaptation just for lighter weight. It sounds kind of crazy, but this is a pattern that we see again and again. In volant animals, they just have smaller genomes. So that allows you to have a smaller nucleus in each one of your cells, and over, you know, millions or billions or trillions of cells, however many there are, I don't know. In each of these organisms, like, that could be a lot of weight savings, I guess. It's not something I hear spoken about a lot, but one of my roommates back in Montana was working on a project like this, and I always found it really fascinating. Yeah. And yeah, your genome is just your, you know, your genetic code there, Lagom core. Yep. Yeah. Pujol says, if red blood cells come from bone marrow, how are birds hollow? I think birds still have bone marrow, it's just not quite in the same way that mammals do. And it might not be in every same bone. You know, I actually don't have a great answer to that question. You have any thoughts on that, Fisher?
Well, I know in sharks that don't have, you know, ossified bone, they only have cartilage.
Right.
Blood is made in the spleen.
Interesting. Huh.
So I don't know if there's a similar structure in hollow bird bones or not.
Right. I doubt those bones lacked marrow altogether, but if they are much more pneumatized, there'd be much less space for it, I guess, if it's like most of that space would be taken up by air. I don't know. Yeah, it's a good question. Thank you, Dinosaur Dave, for looking that up. Most of their bones do develop cavities that lessen weight and are connected to the respiratory system. Got pneumatic bones, yeah. Yeah, huh. So I do wonder in which bones birds have the most marrow and when most of those red blood cells are developed. Rex, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, wants to know what I think of Jack Horner's Chickensaurus, or Dino Chicken project. I was actually involved with that, obliquely, back at Montana State. At one point, I was helping Dana Rashid, who's now, I think, lead researcher on that project, helping her get her hands on some emu eggs to do some work on. Not trying to turn an emu into something superficially resembling a velociraptor or something, but just to like look at embryo development in emus, since they're larger than chickens, and maybe some of those things would be clearer to see in a larger embryo. But yeah, what do I think of the project? I think it's really cool. I think it's a worthwhile project. It seems a little fanciful, like a little, I don't know, almost frivolous, like, oh, let's take a chicken and turn it into something that superficially resembles a velociraptor by lengthening the tail and getting claws on the arms and teeth in the jaws, stuff like that. But, you know, there's so much that we don't understand about the the development of embryos. And chickens can provide a pretty good model for that kind of thing. So we're already learning a lot from that project. It's definitely scientifically useful and important. And there even has the potential to help treat or cure some human diseases. There's a really nasty malady called ankylosing spondylitis, in which your vertebrae fuse up. They like fuse together. It can be debilitating. It's very, very painful. And in trying to keep the chicken's tail from fusing up and trying to get those, that tail to lengthen, trying to keep it from, shortening itself and fusing. If we can figure out how to do that, then, maybe we could figure out how to prevent ankylosing spondylitis. Help prevent human vertebrae from fusing up like that. That's kind of the idea, because there isn't a good model organism for ankylosing spondylitis. There's no real, way to study that in animals so far. Chickens could provide that. So that could be a really cool and interesting, beneficial spin-off from that whole project. We'll see. Yeah. Oh, and you have that, some generic username. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, ankylosing spondylitis is nasty. I'm sorry. Yowza. And Andrew Memorex wants to know, did dinosaurs suffer from cancer? We do have a few dinosaur specimens that show cancerous growths on them. There was a big fibula, shin bone of a shin bone, fibula is the one on the side of the tibia here. The Centrosaurus from this big bone bed up in Alberta, Canada, and that had a huge cancerous growth on it. Maybe we can find somebody in the chat. Maybe you can find that and post a link. There you go. Thank you, Claire. You already did it. Beautiful. But yeah, what's interesting is that dinosaur didn't seem to die from that big cancerous growth, even though as enormous as it was. Yeah, it seems to have died crossing a river along with hundreds of its comrades there. So I don't know. That might speak to how resilient dinosaurs were during their lifetimes. They could really take a licking and keep moving.
Pretty much what our day is figuring out what order to go in. Move here, move here. Gotta be clean holes.
I might be able to get this sound nice too.
Hydraulic excavation.
any confirmed dinosaur specimens with lung cancer? Not that I know of, Andrew Memorex, no. That sort of thing would be really difficult to find, from fossils. Lungs don't fossilize very readily. Yeah. Good question, though. And Dr. Terra's got a question from yesterday. How do we know that Moros arrived from Asia when Jurassic North America had basal tyrannosauroids like Stogosaurus from the Jurassic? I don't know. That's a good question. It might just be that, like, Moros and Stogosaurus don't come out next to each other in any of these phylogenetic analyses. They might not be closely related in that sense. I don't know, though. Ask me again when we can ask Jim, and we'll do that. He's concentrating right now. I don't want to disturb him too much.
Okay, Santa's busy in his workshop.
There you go. Alright. Pujol wants to know what's an average dinosaur lifespan if not eaten. I mean, shoot, you'd have to specify what kind of dinosaur you're talking about. Really morphologically diverse group of animals. I think the oldest dinosaurs that we have so far, like the ones that were most aged when they died, were maybe in their 50s or 60s. Some big sauropods. There was a paper that I think either just came out or will come out soon that I've heard about. Doing histo on some of these big sauropods, like cutting their bones open and looking at the growth rings to determine how old they were. Some of these guys may have been like upwards of 60 years old, but that's the oldest dinosaurs we have so far. A lot of other guys would have been much younger at death. A lot of dinosaurs seem to have lived fast and died young. Here, let me go get some water and then I'll ask some more of these questions. Yeah. Hot. All right. What is the nearest oasis, and does it have palm trees and a nice cool pool to jump in? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if you could hear him, but Don said, yeah, there's some hotels in Moab. That's probably the closest we've got. Yeah. Yeah. Out of the sun. There we go.
Ontogeny.
Holy cow, thank you, Zook, for the gift subs there. I really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Thanks for supporting the channel with your generosity there. Yeah. And,
you just filled these in preemptively here.
Manfred says, do you have any idea what it is? Oh, so this, inside of here, this is a protective plaster cocoon. We call a field jacket, put around this bone.
Sure.
So there's a humerus in here, upper arm bone, from an iguanodont dinosaur. And I'm working on kind of undercutting it so I can flip it, we can carve it down, and then put a bottom jacket on it so it'll be fully enclosed and ready to be brought back safely to the laboratory without falling apart. Yeah. So a couple days ago, you know, this hadn't been jacketed yet, so you could see its full extent. You know, can't hear on camera, but you know, in order to get these things safely out of the ground, you gotta jacket them like this. So unfortunately, it means that you can't see it. But when I flip it over, you'll be able to see the underside. And I'd like to be able to get that done today. So I'm gonna keep working here.
Thanks, Bill. 24.
Take another tool.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
So I've got another awl right here. And I'm kind of cutting under this. It's nice to have a slightly stronger, more powerful kind of implement here. T-Beer says, what's the jacket made out of? So it's made out of burlap, which is this material right here. Some people might call this jute. I think in the UK or other Commonwealth countries, people might call it hessian. But this is like loose weave, inexpensive fabric. We take that and we soak it in wet plaster of Paris. And then we put it on here. You'll probably see this later in the summer. And then it hardens into this nice protective cocoon like this. And it keeps the fossil from flexing, from torquing, it keeps everything from crumbling while we bring it back to the laboratory. And then we open up the jacket and then clean away all the rock, make sure the bone is nice and glued together, consolidated, it's not going to fall apart on us. Yeah, it takes a lot of work to dig up a dinosaur. But this particular method was devised way back during the Bone Wars in like the 1870s or maybe 1880s by Othniel Charles Marsh's crews. and we've been doing it the same way pretty much ever since. You know, not a whole lot of change since then. I guess now we've got paper towel or toilet paper that we use as the layer of separator before we put on the plaster soaked burlap. Back then they used like newspaper. But yeah, some crews do still use newspaper, which is not ideal. But sometimes old habits die hard. Yeah. Is your jacketing method pretty much the same out there where you work, Nick?
Yeah. It's pretty much
plaster and burlap. Yeah. Do you have a preferred separator? Do you prefer toilet paper or paper towel? Paper towel.
Toilet paper, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really use aluminum foil.
Yeah. I don't think it works very well with separator.
We spend a lot more time jacketing as we undercut, though.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time. So like, we undercut a little bit.
Oh, and then just do another strip. Yeah.
Just basically chase it until it topples.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah.
We've done jackets before where you pull them out and literally everything pours out the bottom.
Oh yeah, because if you're working in that Pleistocene alluvium, it's really unconsolidated.
Yeah. So
Yowza.
you basically have to jacket as you go, and it's just very time consuming.
Yeah.
So.
Especially for something tall like a turtle carapace. Are they ever actually like in situ, like, or are they usually collapsed?
I'd say about half of them we have are squished, and the other half are perfectly preserved. Still
Nice. Shoot.
So,
I would think that'd be a lot more rare.
yeah.
That's really cool.
Well, they a lot of the ones that we find are actually in burrows when they die.
Oh, nice. You get them preserved in 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also one of the preservation biases. I think they have hard outer parts, and also they essentially bury themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very considerate of them.
I know. For us, yeah.
Yeah. And hello, Samsonar. Good to have you here. Samsonar. Cool name. Why do you say newspaper is not ideal as a separator, asked Tape here? Because it doesn't really, like... It's not as pliable as paper towel or tissue paper. Or, excuse me, toilet paper. I don't know, it, like... It doesn't have the same kind of height to it, either. It's not as soft. It's just, all around, it's not as good. Yeah. Brickmonster says, this is nothing like the beginning of Jurassic Park. Yeah, Jurassic Park lied to you, and that's digging up dinosaurs is, I don't know, not as easy as they make it look there. Almost never do we have, like, a beautiful, complete skeleton all laid out, articulated, you know, and you just have to use a paintbrush to remove some of the sand on top, and then it's just there staring you in the face. It's hard work, you know? And would liquid styrofoam work on fossils? And would it turn solid in the air? I don't know, that sounds expensive. Usually we don't have that kind of a budget. Also, styrofoam is like, it's pretty nasty stuff. It's not recyclable, it's... Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Probably wouldn't do well with acetone either.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, the Vinac, or B72 acryloid, the consolidant glue that we use on stuff like this would probably just like dissolve the styrofoam, I would imagine. So yeah, it wouldn't play well with some of the other materials that we use. Yeah. And Desolate Eden says, this is one of the coolest streams I've come across on Twitch. Thank you. Welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here. Let me know if you've got any questions. Yeah.
the bottom there?
Yeah, this looks. I thought it was a pebble at first, but this looks like the articulated surface of that metatarsal.
Oh, yeah.
So it was really inclined. I just forgot because I
Yeah, it was
had it in the jacket for so long.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think it is. That's
Just safe.
perfect. Sweet.
All right. And Tapir, yeah, so the plaster that we're using is plaster of Paris. I don't know what your native language is, but in Spanish that would be yeso de Paris. It's like a gypsum-based powder that, you know, you wet it in water, it turns into like a soupy texture, and then you know, once it hardens, it's like this. But it is kind of like similar to an old-fashioned, you know, cast for a broken arm or a broken leg. And that's why a lot of people are inclined to call this a cast. But the word cast means something different in paleontology. A cast is like a molded and cast replica of, say, a bone or a shell or something like that. This is what we call a jacket, because we're jacketing the fossil. It's a protective cocoon over the top of it. And you're welcome, Tapir, yeah. And while I'd be able to take the stream to a lab, I did at the beginning of the summer. Yeah, you should check out that VOD from... I tried to make it a highlight on the channel, so if you check out the highlighted videos... Highlit videos? You should be able to find it. But I did a really cool stream with Jim here from the Utahraptor Mega Block back in the laboratory. And that was pretty stellar. We happened to be on the front page then, too. So there were like 10,000 people watching. It was pretty awesome. Yeah. And... yeah. Oh, and you saw some fossils in the ROM. Very cool, Brickmonster. Journal, how much of those skeletons are actual bones and how much is cast replicas? I'm not sure at the ROM. It depends. The easy way to tell the difference when you're looking at a mounted dinosaur skeleton between a cast replica and real fossil bone is to look for the armature. So in a museum where you've got real fossil bone on display, mounted as a skeleton, you'll see all these metal holders around the bones, kind of gently cradling each of them in place. And with a cast replica, you just have metal rods going straight through the bones themselves. You know, you can drill holes through a replica and it doesn't matter.
Don't give me tape.
But with real bone, you want, you know, metal armature gently holding it in place like that. But yeah, look for the metal armature. That's how you can tell the difference.
I know with the ROM in particular, the plaques detail which components of the skeleton are bone and which one are cast.
Thank you, Fisher. Cool.
So if you have photos that have the plaques in them, you should be able to identify which parts of the skeleton are.
Cool. Have you been to the ROM?
Bone. Yeah, it was SVP 2022 was in.
Oh yeah,
Ontario.
shoot. Yeah. Is that your shirt?
Yeah, it is.
Nice.
Very faded.
Fisher, been there, done that. Got the shirt. The Society of Vertebrate Paleontology meeting in 2022, which I did not get to go to, unfortunately. Couldn't afford that back then. That was in Toronto, and I guess, did you have the reception at the ROM?
Yeah.
Nice.
Nugget. Nugget there. Not like that, but yeah.
I'm really looking forward to going to SVP this year. My first one in a while. It's been too long. Yeah. And you're welcome, Brick Monster. Good question. And
Survive Egypt sound.
right
Nick,
there.
are you using this one?
Not at the moment. No.
Sweet. Sweet.
What
Got a new boy?
What do you think? Ooh, I'll just, the top of it's over there.
Nice.
No, left.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I mean, I can guess what it looks like. Probably the same thing. Cool. Looks like rib pieces or something. Maybe more chevron chunk. I don't know. Long and skinny. Not super duper exciting, but 'tis bone.
Tis bone. It's like bone over not bone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick. Need some thick glue to glue that back together?
This is drying right now, so I got something.
Wait.
And Dinosaur Dave says, question for the quarry. Which museum or display is your favorite to look at? And which museums have you not been to that you want to go to? Oh boy, I want to go to pretty much every museum I've not been to. I'm really excited to go to the Tyrrell at some point. Up in Drumheller, Alberta. Haven't been yet. We were just talking about that yesterday, Ethan.
Gotta go.
Yeah. And favorite displays to look at. Here, I'm going to move the camera because it's direct sunlight again. Here. Go like that. Here, let's put this up here. There we go. Favorite displays. Now think about that. It's really cool when you've got a dinosaur skull that's in exploded view. So rather than all of the different skull bones being together and articulated, instead they're just a little bit separated from one another, so you can see the spaces in between, and you can really pick out the shapes of all these individual bones and look at them from different angles. There's a Tenontosaurus skull at Museum of the Rockies that we were talking about yesterday, actually. Not on stream, but I was talking about that with Jim and Karen, and that's a really cool display. That's verging on unique. You don't see those very often. I think that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Fisher, what's the museum you dream of being able to visit, see the displays?
A lot of the museums in China look pretty cool.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I'm also interested in going to the Tyrrell.
Yeah, we should do a trip sometime.
And then the Denver Museum would be nice to get hired at.
Yeah.
So, if that counts as visiting, then that's my number one choice. I have an application in right now.
I like that. Yeah. Well, if you get in, then that's awesome. And if you don't, that means, I don't know, they don't know what they're doing. You don't want to go anyway.
Never know what the applicant pool's like.
Yeah. And Freelancer says, is there a great dinosaur display or must-see thing in Belgium? Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, right there in Brussels at the Natural History Museum. You've got those famous Bernoussaur iguanodont. There's, I don't know how many of them. I want to say it's like a dozen. Big mounted skeletons in this huge glass case. And they are enormous. We've been talking so much about iguanodonts over the past week because that's what we're digging up here. But that's a world-class museum there. World-class displays. Yeah.
It's almost ready to go. Ready to flip.
Let's see. And we'll go, very cool, local museum in Australia with dinosaur displays. That's awesome. There's a number of good museums in Australia. Dinosaur Dave here in the chat has been to pretty much all of them this year, which is really cool. And Gojira says, am I enjoying the cool summer weather? Oh, definitely, yeah.
So,
yeah. Yeah, Jim?
my phone was up there.
We'll find it.
It's
Let's see.
like, I wonder if you could try calling it.
Sure, I can do that.
I remember I put it on top of this because it showed up and it was in the shade.
You got a hole inside of that bucket. You just tapped it and I saw plaster falling out.
I think it went straight to voicemail there. We'll find it.
Yeah, please. I really can't afford to lose it. Oh, did I? Oh, I might have.
Just put it in there.
You might have.
No, I'd put it up here.
Nice. Yeah, I think it might be.
Better spot for
This battery might have died or something. Oh no.
No, yeah. That's,
Okay, cool.
That's half. I got it half.
Beautiful. If you ever need it
It's on
charged,
airplane mode.
if you ever need it charged while we're in the quarry, I could just bring it up to the battery pack up there that runs the
plug it in.
Starlink. Yeah. As long as you
And
got
I've
the
been
cord.
charging it in night in my tent, and it
Nice. Yeah.
charges up good.
Yeah.
You know, down here I got an airplane mode, or it'd be dead now.
Yeah.
Oh
Get
God!
on Danny's. Beefy.
Is there a particular museum you'd really want to visit, Nick?
Favorite probably display that I've been to is Smithsonian.
Oh yeah.
And, I still haven't been to a lot of museums. Like I haven't been to Museum of the Rockies. I haven't been to Denver Museum.
Yeah.
Those are all places I want to go.
About half the museums that I've been to were all within the past couple of years, like doing these big streaming road trips across the U.S. It's been pretty cool. So like I'd never been to the Denver Museum before that, or
Denver's nice.
really nice, yeah. Yeah.
I went to the Salt Lake City one on the way back from Rock Springs, and that was actually really cool. I thought that was an awesome museum.
Nice. Yeah. No, they've got very, very cool displays.
Yeah, they already have like a Loki Ceratops.
Oh yeah.
And replica and all that up. And, yeah. Plus that Ceratopsin wall is super cool.
Yeah. It's funny. All the paleontologists who go there always remark on the ceratopsian phylogeny wall, but like, I've never heard anybody who's not a paleontologist ever say that they thought that was cool.
Really?
That's like for us almost, you know? Yeah.
Well, I suggested they do that, but I thought they would do it horizontally so you walk through it.
Uh-huh.
Because I had no clue what the space was going to look like.
Yeah.
And Scott took my thing and then put it up on that wall, and that was wonderful.
That's neat.
Right, so much better than horizontal. And I had no clue what their space was.
Do you ever think that'll be out of date, like if the phylogeny changes?
I don't think vastly. But,
Yeah.
You know,
It doesn't, like, it seems like they did it pretty well.
Centrosaurs and chasmosaurs are pretty solid.
I think Denver would say it's out of date, but
He did, yeah.
What would he do?
well, he thinks Cosmoceratops is a descendant of Chasmosaurus.
He has two different lines.
Yeah, but he thinks it's
He ties it the Bagaceratops.
He thinks it goes Chasmosaurus, Cosmoceratops, Bagaceratops.
I'm not sure. No, they're separate lines. I mean, they really are. It's just, we've got we've got complete magnetic sequences in both areas. You know, you see, Paleomag for the Campanian is really well resolved in all these basins. Back into that pouch because that was a pretty safe place. Oh man.
Alright, so I'm getting ready to flip this here, but this little guy right here is moving along with it, and I don't want that to come up at the same time. So what I'm going to have to do is cut across here and make sure that this is separate from this. So that's going to take a little bit of work here before we can flip that.
Hey Danny,
Yeah.
you grab me that pail right there.
Yeah.
Is it okay?
I can dump the water out. There you go.
Damp.
Yeah.
Jacket these tomorrow.
Nice.
Cap them. Certainly.
Let's see.
Heard what's showing, Emily. Where are they?
Yes.
Show them out there. I need to take a picture too.
Taking pictures too. We're trying to draw Corey maps.
Oh, Dinosaur Dave, good question. A question for you, Jim, in particular. He's concentrating.
That can workshop on it.
Yeah.
work.
There we go. Looks like it's going to go without taking this with it. That's what we want. Just to be safe. I'm going to carve a little bit more out from under here. Especially in this area.
I'd borrow some of that TP.
Yeah.
He's got some right here.
Oh.
I just went out. It's probably total crap. Whatever it is, it's all here.
And Freelancer, there's an iguanodont humerus in here, upper arm bone. It's the same one that I was showing on stream the other day. Finally going to be able to flip this today. So I'll work on cutting this down a little bit for an easier flip, and then we'll send it. And Desolate U wants to know, where do these bones go after you excavate them? So these are first going to go to the Utah Geological Survey. That's where Jim and Don and Ethan work. And they're going to be prepared there, so cleaned in the laboratory, all the rock removed, the bones sufficiently glued so they don't fall apart, that kind of thing. And then their forever home is going to be at the Natural History Museum of Utah in Salt Lake City. And they may, who knows, maybe they'll even go on display there someday. It's possible. That'd be really cool, because we do think this is going to be a brand new critter. And Karen Poole, who was out with us this whole time until yesterday, we just sent her home yesterday so she could get started getting ready for the new semester, her teaching duties. But Karen's going to be working on this critter. He's going to be publishing on it, hopefully as a new species. So we're pretty excited about that. And Ghost Pilot wants to know, is there an unexpected skill I picked up during digs? And alternatively, is there a seemingly unrelated skill you have that's proven useful on a dig site? A skill that I picked up that I didn't expect. I don't know, that's a tough one. I was expecting quite a few things. You know, I've wanted to be a paleontologist since I was a little kid. And done a lot of, you know, a lot of reading, a lot of trying to learn about what's required out here, that kind of thing. Let's see, some skills that I have that proved more useful than I would imagine would be...
It's long careers in oyster shippers.
Yeah. Burned, yeah. I don't know, maybe vehicle maintenance. This may be not too surprising, but like there have been a number of times when vehicles have broken down in the field, and you know, I've helped fix them so they can limp back into town and have a mechanic look at them, that kind of thing. Yeah, there was one time I had to fix I think it was the fusible link on my old Suzuki Samurai. And I actually didn't need to take it to a mechanic afterward. I just fixed that and it was good as new. I'm sure there's other stuff too that I'm not thinking of at the moment. What about you, Don? What's a skill? Maybe rice cooking?
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, Don makes an excellent pot of rice.
I've often said there's really no like, human skill or aspect that's not used, at least in some respect out here.
Yeah.
In terms of, I mean,
maybe juggling.
Juggling, yeah, music. You probably don't like half of that. But yeah,
I haven't broken out the ukulele yet. Yeah.
Being able to do, having mechanical skills is really helpful.
Yeah.
And then we broke the pull cord on the.
Yeah, you fixed that the other day. On the generator.
I mean, it wasn't fairly easy, but still, you got to know how to take things apart.
Yeah, and at least have the confidence to like know that you can work on it and not just go, oh, we have to take this into town.
How to use power tools is good.
Yeah.
Knowing which end of the shovel is yours is always important. Being flexible.
Yeah.
Both psychically and physically. I'm probably better at the physical. Damn it, Jim.
Yeah.
You know, the deal with the long stretches of boredom.
Living with that shadow. You know, you get used to it. It's probably like the default state for humanity.
Knowing how to take a bucket shower. I thought I was going to have to keep up with you guys who were going to go swimming, but you didn't, so I'm the cleanest because I took the bucket shower.
Oh, nice.
It's amazing, pretty much 3/4 of one of these little buckets is enough to take a full shower.
Nice.
If you have a little cup, or just dump over,
Yeah.
soap up, shampoo up.
I've been going through a lot of those wet wipes, like at least 4 or 5 every night.
If you're really lucky, you can have a bucket assistant with your finger. That only happens on rare occasions.
Got to be pretty good friends to be able to do that.
Hopefully a spouse
Have someone bathe you in the field. Yeah. And, oh, that's a great question. Hakusaurus says, any advice for someone who wants to be a paleontologist? Where do you start? My standard piece of advice for this is, kind of comes from personal experience. See if you can get yourself into a museum. You know, that's even maybe before you go to university, before you take any classes, anything like that. If you can put yourself where the action is, if you're in a position where you can volunteer in a museum, if you're lucky enough to have one near where you live, then do that. You know, you'll get to interact with paleontologists, you'll get to work with fossils. That's how I got my start. Back in high school, I volunteered at the Museum of Paleontology in Berkeley. And that was, that's really where things took off for me. So if you have a museum nearby, especially if there are fossils in that museum, see if you can get your foot in the door there, either as a volunteer or if you can't afford to volunteer. I realize a lot of people can't. Then even just like getting a paid gig in the museum as a custodian or working the front desk or something like that. You'll at least be there in the building and you'll get to have those interactions, and you know, you'll see opportunities kind of fall into your lap after that. So that's the best piece of advice I could give you. Yeah. Yeah. And we are not hiring here, Mackie Flip. Now, most of us are not being paid to be here, actually. We're volunteering. But yeah, and I'm not on Cameo, actual Reverend, no. I feel like debasing myself. No offense to anybody who's on Cameo, but I don't know. I'm already on camera for how many hours every day? Too many? Yeah.
So where'd that clipboard go?
Here. We've been using them all day.
Just need the one I was, well, I guess, you're now mapping. Log a couple.
Alright, this is ready to go. Ready for a flip?
You want a long one?
Yeah, actually, yeah, that'd be good. Thank you. It's really this side that I'm kind of worried about.
That's not the one for the long one. Which one is this?
Okay.
Ethan, where are the baggies?
The little ones are in the big action packer.
Thanks, Danny.
Yeah.
I have to, maybe one.
All right.
Here you go, Jim.
Ready? Get a drum roll, chat. Okay. Ready, and go.
Nice.
Very nice. Textbook. Yeah. There we are.
Work.
Beautiful.
Okay.
That really couldn't have gone better. That's excellent.
Negative.
Negatory.
Unfortunately.
I like that Sharpie method of drawing around it.
I mean, it's
Helps you.
mostly so I don't forget.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, it's smart.
So I'll be like,
A week after
Hammering
its
into
initial
something.
discovery.
What's this?
I got that from.
A week
Yeah,
after
I know,
we
right?
first saw it. Yeah. Well, that's good. It's better to take your time and
Yeah, especially such a beautiful
do it
bone like that.
successfully.
Don.
Do this out. And then
Did you move this one front now?
Yeah.
I heard the first time Don had me doing that.
Oh, the Sharpie
And
move
the new
method.
one is
circling.
That is smart. Oh yeah, I'm gonna start doing that. Got some water ready here.
That's right.
Would have been nice to get this flipped earlier, but there's so many other things that have popped up in here. Alright. And Airbister says, who funds your job? Does the government, museums, etc.? I am paid entirely through you, believe it or not. Not you as a taxpayer, but you as a Twitch viewer. I make my living doing these live streams on Twitch. And I'm volunteering here on this crew. But the members of the crew who are actually getting paid to be here, not through streaming, work for the Utah Geological Survey.
Oh yeah, that's a pen. You know.
So that's the Department of Natural Resources for the state of Utah. Yeah, there's a lot of... that definitely behooves the people of Utah because there's a lot of tourism dollars that come from dinosaurs. And so it's important to be able to fund this kind of work. And also it's just science. Science is incredibly important. Apart from like a financial standpoint, you know, funding science is kind of a vital thing to do if you want your society to flourish. So yeah. Well, thanks for the answer. You bet, Herbster. Yeah, thanks for the good question. And I don't do fieldwork during the winter months, Lagum Core. This area is all cold and snowy during that time of the year. Yeah. But you're totally right. Yeah, I'm thinking about how nice it would be to dig up a fossil in a little bit cooler temperatures. We're all thinking that right now.
Thanks for rubbing it in.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the reason that we can be out here during this time is, like Jim always says, because of the academic calendar, you know? During the school year, many of the students who volunteer here, you know, they're in classes. So this is really like the one time a year when this is possible. But it'd be nice to be able to do some work in like the early or late autumn. Yeah, believe me, if I got a call to be out here in November, I'd jump at the chance. But just schedule-wise, that often doesn't work out, unfortunately. Some more water. And Agathor... No, there is paleontological fieldwork in Antarctica. And, yeah, it's not... There's certain places where there's exposed rock. Not everything is covered in ice. It's one of my dreams to be able to work in Antarctica, and maybe someday soon that'll be a reality. But so far, not yet. Unclear, thank you for reposting that from Tone Rebellion. And Tone Rebellion, yeah, that what is it called? Somebody types in exclamation mark oxygen. That command will link to a paper that actually describes that idea, Tone Rebellion, about sauropods becoming super gigantic, not because of increased oxygen levels, that was not going on back then, but instead like a number of other things that are kind of like feedback loops, like well, I don't know, different things that kind of feed into each other, like being a big animal that's just constantly eating all the time, not chewing your food, just ingesting tons of plant material, and then like the larger you get, the wider the arc to your neck, you know, more plants you can get in a single sweep of your neck. That allows you to get bigger, you know, that kind of thing. Having a super, super large digestive tract allows you to actually get enough nutrition out of the low-quality forage that you're eating. Yeah, Martin Sander has a really cool paper on this that you should check out if you're interested in that. Yeah, that's that link at the end of that command from Nightbot. Thank you, Quiver. Yeah. Alright, let's start cutting this down. So now that I've flipped this jacket, there's a bunch of rock under here that we don't need. It's just extra ballast. So we're going to remove some of that until we start to see the first hints of bone there. And then I think I'll stop and we'll put a bottom jacket on this. So it's fully cocooned and safe to bring back to the laboratory. And Nazoon, it is like counting the rings of the tree when you're doing histology like that, yeah. Maybe a bit of an oversimplification, but essentially that's how it works. It's counting the lags, the lines of arrested growth, which are like the kind of dark rings when the bone is not growing as quickly. Kind of like on a tree, with the darker rings are during the time of the year when the tree is not growing as much. Same idea. And, let's see. One Fun Panda wants to know, did dinosaurs ever puke? Well, birds today certainly do. And let's see, do crocodilians throw up?
Anybody take my glue? In a large bottle?
Right here?
That was it, actually.
Yeah, they regurgitate stuff. I bet you dinosaurs would have. Anytime we've got a question like that where I don't think we really have any dinosaur regurgitates, any fossil remains of dinosaurs barfing. But sometimes we don't have like direct fossil evidence.
Like, this used to be the low level, now it's the main level.
Oh, for the bone layer here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, I think for Ethan's Blush.
What's this?
For Ethan's Blush, this is the main.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
so
anytime we don't have like direct
over here,
evidence
it's the
from the
main
fossil
level.
record, sometimes we use what we call the EPB, the extant phylogenetic bracket. So basically we look at the two groups that are most closely related to dinosaurs, and we look at stuff that we can observe about them today, stuff that maybe you can't get from the fossil record. So for dinosaurs, their extant phylogenetic bracket is birds, who are living dinosaurs. They're descended from theropod dinosaurs. And the other bracket over there is crocodilians, who are kind of like cousins to the dinosaurs. So if both of those groups, you know, can regurgitate, then, you know, we would assume that dinosaurs could, most likely, unless they, like, evolved away from that for some reason. And dinosaurs are also a really diverse group, morphologically, like we've been talking about, so maybe there were some dinosaurs that couldn't throw up. There are some mammals that can't. Like fish, I've read that horses can't vomit for whatever reason.
I'm not familiar with that.
Really?
No.
Let me look that up, because I say this all the time, but I've never really looked it up. Yeah. Let's see.
I think throwing up's pretty important.
Horses vomit. Oh, there's a paper downloading. I wasn't trying to get that, but I guess let's look at it. When was this published? Bless you, Jim. Vomiting in the horses is of seldom or rare occurrence, and recovery, therefore, is still more rare. I don't know when this is published. This might even be from, like, the 18th century. Google.
It's a better field number than that.
From Equus magazine. Why can't horses vomit? See, they're begging the question there. That's like assuming a premise when it hasn't been established, but whatever. It's physically impossible, or at least very difficult, for horses to vomit.
Physically impossible or difficult.
I don't know. Maybe, like, it's very, very rare. I don't know. Maybe certain individual horses can. I'm not sure.
Gotta get to the bottom of this.
According to this, the muscles of the equine lower esophageal sphincter are much stronger than those in other animals, making it nearly impossible to open that valve under backward pressure from the stomach. Also, the equine esophagus joins the stomach at a much lower angle than in many animals, so when the stomach is distended, as with gas, it presses against the valve in such a way that it holds even more tightly closed. And they have a weak vomiting reflex on top of that. But vomiting in horses has occasionally been reported. But it's possible that...
A streamer that got reported. Or a chatter. Vomiting horses is now blocked.
Permaban. Yeah. But it's possible that some of these reported cases of horses vomiting might actually have been choking. The vomited material may have been ejected from the blockage in the esophagus and not from the stomach. Yeah. Huh.
That's a classic defense.
Interesting. Well, yeah.
I wonder if it would stand up in court.
The horse?
Your Honor,
The horse would stand up and
this horse was not throwing up at this.
Yeah.
It had gotten the hay of itself.
It had put in the cart before itself.
Thanks for rescuing that.
I don't know. Yeah. Alright, let me carve this thing down.
Saving me.
This should be pretty quick. The chunks are this big.
Like 440. I'm gonna map this guy and then just wrap it in for it.
Do you have any gypsum near you?
I don't.
I just need a little strip.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I guess I
Let's see. And Salamander says it's much more likely that their stomach was filled with gas and twists. I have seen horses clear their airways coughing out obstructions, but that's not vomiting per se. Yeah, I think it's basically what that article was saying. That, like, you know, if something comes out of a horse's mouth, it's not necessarily something that came out of its stomach. Like, yeah, I don't know. That's cool that you've got personal experience there, though. Is that bone? Oh, someone earlier was asking another question, too, that I forgot about. And it's like, has there ever been surprises found in jackets where, like, you know, a crew has jacketed something in the field and they bring it back to the laboratory and they prep it, and there's just something weird and cool inside that they didn't notice in the field? And yeah, there's a whole troodontid dinosaur, Hesperornithoides, I think, was found, like, in the bottom of a sauropod jacket. So they've got all these sauropod bones there, and they built this huge jacket around them, brought it back to the laboratory, and there's just a bonus troodontid dinosaur in there, which turned out to be really scientifically important, because I think it's one of the oldest known troodontids, if not the oldest.
From this, from Bill and Pool.
Oh yeah, there's that.
On the bottom of the ankylosaur pelvis jacket.
Nice, nice. Yeah, Ethan found that bone in one of these jackets.
What's up here? Ah, secret square. Thanks, player.
How long does a chicken burrito have to sit at 100-degree temperature before it starts coming out? I guess we'll find out.
We'll see if Dawn is capable of vomiting.
I certainly am.
Ontogeny.
Jim on the clipboard.
And let's see. Pumpkin Cakes is great channel. I learn something new every time I watch. Thanks. I appreciate you resubscribing there, Pumpkin Cakes. Thank you, thank you. Yeah.
We're also looking to see where that guy is.
Yeah.
We're trying to flood it.
And hang on, did something cut out here?
We are looking. Actual map on it.
And Nazoon says, on that note, do you ever get false positives, where we bring something back to the lab and it turns out to have not been a fossil?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you get those?
Yeah.
If somebody just jackets a big class?
Yeah, you get back and look at it. Or it's just
Not something that was worth collecting, even if it is bone? Yeah. Where's my scoop?
what's up?
Thank you.
Pretty close, I think.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be right here. Yeah, right here. Pencil check. Let me get that one of those pencils there, Jim.
Yep, I'm ready.
I'll be right. Oop, no, I'm right here. Why did you hand it to me?
And Lagumcore, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. Holy cow. Thanks for supporting science outreach here on Twitch. Appreciate it. Breeze is nice.
It's about time.
Yeah.
That won't be a bad jacket. Yeah. I know we normally don't do it, but I gave each one of those a different number. I just said they're all in the same jacket. Right on it. 185 to 187. Okay. And there may be another thing in there too, but I can't tell what it is. I'm not going to pay much attention. Just squiggle on it. Not collected. Collected for destructive analysis.
And Cosmological Kev wants to know how, roughly how many individual animals are in the quarry that we're working in? It's a good question. Yeah, so we've got a term for that in a bone bed like this. Bone bed is where you've got multiple individuals all preserved in the same quarry. So we call it the MNI, the minimum number of individuals. And I'm not sure what our MNI is for this quarry so far. Oftentimes you'll count it by like looking at the number of like left femurs or something. Because you know every animal's only got one left femur.
Oh, that thing there?
Yeah. But I would say
I think it's
20 or more iguanodonts.
20 or more iguanodonts, individuals in this quarry. Wow, Don.
Well, between the whole, between Don's place, Jim's place.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What about this quarry right here? Do we know what our MNI is so far? Sorry, you're trying to eat.
Oh, that we're in 5 or 6.
5 or 6?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, thanks, Nick. Yeah.
And essentially no flies.
They stopped when Ken left, right?
Hmm.
They come back when Ken comes back. He's the fly whisperer.
Do we have a second active gypsona, or is the one Fisher's?
Yeah, I need to put separator on it first anyway. So
Cool. Thanks, Steve.
And is the Wi-Fi cutting in or out? What's going on with this? Let me see here. What's our connectivity with this guy? It's good. Yeah, I'm not sure what the issue is. It's probably just Starlink. It gets like that sometimes.
Yeah, it's a crappy picture.
Yeah, something's going on like that. Yeah, periodic drops. None of them are too bad. It just dropped for a second. Yeah, just don't worry about it, everybody. It's satellite internet, you know? If it cuts out for a second, that's... You know, we're lucky this stuff works at all.
It feels abnormally humid here today.
It does. I wonder what my humidity gauge says.
It claims that it's 101 in Cisco.
Yeah, that feels about right.
This is in the sun. Guess what it says? The temperature.
135.
136.
Doesn't feel so bad.
It's
It's a nice one.
Really, like it's, I feel like it's
101 is.
yeah. There we go. It still says 10% humidity though. Yeah.
Weather Underground says 99.
Let's cool down over here in the
So
shade.
it's pretty much a 0% chance of rain. 0.0.
0.0% chance of rain.
Plutarski. 0.0. Tomorrow's showing 46% chance.
46% chance tomorrow?
Yeah, probably a thunderstorm.
Ooh.
That's probably why it's a high of only 94 on Friday.
Gotcha.
Let's see what the summary says. Scattered thunderstorms in the evening, then variable clouds overnight, with more showers at times. Chance of rain 50%,
Tomorrow,
Ooh.
50. Wow.
according to Woo.
Maybe tomorrow should be your guys' day off.
The woo?
Weather Underground. It's pretty much the only range.
Ethan, you done with the Gypsona?
It sure is.
Sweet.
Thanks,
Air
bud.
quality alert. I guess we need that. We don't really need to know that. Huh. Ozone. I think it'll be particulates. Weird.
And thank you for subscribing, Evina. I appreciate that. Thanks for your support there. This is good. Got this thing flipped. Wasn't positive that'd be possible today, but
Ontogeny.
was able to get these things nice and protected, so yeah. I guess I can continue thinning this down tomorrow if we're going to wrap up soon. And PJ Nothing Man says, is this actually a femur instead of a humerus? No, it seems to be a humerus. Yeah, still working on it.
Oh, that's just a...
I think this is just a dark colored rock, but I'm being careful about it anyway.
That looks like it.
Because this looks like it too, but that's definitely rock. But I'm still being careful.
Yeah, I would say once you get down to that level, you can probably just. That's weird.
Yeah, if it's bone, it's definitely something different than the humerus.
Oh yeah, it's not the humerus. But in this court, there can be stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
Underneath. So yeah, I'd probably maybe do a little there and call it.
Okay.
Call it quits, just in case.
Cool.
Could be one of those serendipity bones.
Yep, have a high on either end of the jacket and a low in the middle.
Yeah, I think it is this rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should I dig down through it if it turns out to be rock, or should we? It's not a heavy jacket.
Yeah.
You know, it's very manageable.
Yeah, probably just just kind of get down to that level and call it good, probably.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, it's always better
Where are
to,
the cards?
better to stop a minute early than a minute late.
Yep.
The cards?
They're right in front of you. Under the red scoop.
Ah, okay. You're burrowed under. You're hiding from the sun.
Primate mobility.
Ooh, man, it's so bright. Oh, that's yours.
And Big Mo says, in your opinion, what's the most unusual or weird-looking dinosaur? Oh, I could show you a video if we were back home in my office, but
Masking tape.
shoot, what's it called?
Yep.
You're done. You want to? I'm gonna throw it.
Let's see.
Eye coordination.
The sun is founding.
Dang, Jim, you got that done fast.
What?
You got all that done fast. Nice job.
That's good
Which one of these looks the weirdest?
I didn't run into much in between. I mean, I had a plant that scared me for a while. It was a big, or mats or roots or something. But big enough. This is EW?
Yeah.
What?
DBEW. Dan, you think I'm too... So I've got a few bones. Like there's a big bone here, and then a bone there. Do you think I'd be good to hilty maybe some of this tomorrow? Or do you think I'm still a little close?
There you go.
Here's like a horizontal or just shell.
Yeah.
I mean, that for sure has got to go, too. I think we could do kind of along this whole stretch.
And I'd like to decap it today, but I'm going to wait, show it to Emily.
It was a little
Tomorrow,
piece of
come in the morning.
Bless you. And yeah, I think Lopharina superba is a pretty weird dinosaur. The greater superb bird of paradise. Really bizarre. But Ichi also is certainly very weird. Whoever said that made a really good point. Yeah. Other weird dinosaurs are things like Chilesaurus, Limusaurus. They're pretty weird. Jacopil, whatever the heck that thing is. Pretty weird too. Funny, I feel like there were a bunch of books when I was a kid, like, oh, the weirdest dinosaurs, most bizarre, blah blah blah. And, you know, it'd be things like, oh, Cryolophosaurus. Stegosaurus. You know, dinosaurs that are not all that unusual. I feel like you could make some cool updates nowadays. Things like Ichi and Stegosaurus, Jacopil and Spicomelus, whatever that thing is.
Don, do you think I should collect this?
Leoningosaurus, pretty bizarre.
These two fit together.
I don't know. Yeah, Thyreophorans are just weird.
So I found
and
it
cool.
by splitting this piece off, and it looked like kind of a rib, but it was like curved. And here's some of that bone there. You can't really see the other side because I glued it on.
And you're ready. Yeah,
And
good
then
job,
see
Lydia.
that little bit of bone there. That clicks into here. I guess you can't really see most of it. I think probably.
Yeah, you got it all.
Yeah. Maybe I just don't want to map it. It's probably my subconscious kind of getting This thing is neat. I'm going to connect to this one because this guy goes all the way through. This piece of shale, like this hole, is actually all bone underneath. So it's like a big. I tried to glue this back into place here. But this thing is weird.
Game Over wants to know, when the fossils are put in transport to the museum, where do they put all the material that isn't needed? Dirt, rock, etc.? You mean like in the laboratory, where does that stuff go? It gets dumped, I guess, into the dumpster. You know, because there will be rock in here within this jacket, you know, that gets thrown away. After the fossil has been extracted, after it's been cleaned and consolidated. And so, usually that, you know, all that surrounding matrix just ends up in the dumpster along with the plaster and burlap. Although at some museums, the plaster jackets, after they're empty, you know, when it's just an empty plaster and burlap shell, that gets auctioned off or sold in the gift shop, especially if there's jacket art on it. I think that's kind of a cool alternative to selling dinosaur fossils. If you sell the jackets that were holding those fossils, especially if it's like a new species, you know, that could be really cool. You get to have a piece of the history of dinosaur paleontology. You know, you get to purchase that. You get to keep it for yourself. And you're helping fossil science rather than hindering it, you know. I think that's pretty neat. Denver Fowler does that at the Badlands Dinosaur Museum, and I think it's a great idea.
You could sell pictures with this little lemonade
Yeah? Would you be allowed to do that at the UGS, or would there be rules preventing it?
Forgiveness, not permission.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess since we're not really a museum,
Yeah.
we wouldn't really have people coming through to want to do something.
True. Yeah, that's a good point.
Sell it on eBay.
There you go. Yeah. And Ghostly Lane says, this plaster had the bones of a new species. It's a solid brag, in my opinion. Yeah, agreed. And then to know that the money you paid for that, for that souvenir, I guess, is going toward finding and excavating additional new dinosaurs. It's pretty cool too.
So your wife says, get that magic jacket out of the house.
Start breaking it down.
You got it, Bo.
Okay, we're gonna call it.
Yeah, 505. So don't empty your buckets. Well, I guess we're not going to tarp the.
Yeah, I don't think
We're just going to pillow our bones. We're not going to tarp them because there's 0% chance of rain.
All right, cool. it's time to wrap this up here. So let's go ahead and do that. Yeah. Looking forward to a cold drink back in camp. Well, hope you enjoyed watching today. Hope you had fun. Hope you learned something. I hope maybe, just maybe, you've got a newfound or perhaps embiggened appreciation for the history of life on Earth here and the way that we can study that through fossil science. If so, then I've done my job. How am I going to do this? I guess this goes under here. Sorry, chat. Here we go. But, yeah. And let's see. Oh, and Doc Simpson. Is that you, Ed Simpson? He says, where was that? Tell Don and Jim I say hi. You bet, Ed. Thank you for all your support over the years, by the way. Hey, Jim. Ed Simpson says hello in the chat.
Oh, great. Hey, Ed.
Yeah, it'd be great to have you out here if you get a chance to visit us. I don't know where Don went, but I'll tell him you said hi as well. Okay, couldn't see you, Don. Yeah, Ed Simpson says hello. Yeah, Don says hi. But yeah, good stuff. And thank you, Lenina, for gifting Doc Simpson a gift sub there. I appreciate that.
Some of the food.
Say again?
Ed's helping to pay for some of the food.
Ed's helping to pay for some of the food. Thank you so much, Ed. We really appreciate that. Keeping us from starving out here means a lot to us. It cannot be overstated. I appreciate your support a lot. And I've got to help with teardown here, closing out the site for the day. So we are going to see if we can find somebody to raid into right now. And we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Let's see. Twitch right here. Who else is live at the moment? Let's see. Looking at my options here. Who can we raid into? Thrills and Chill, Mr. Urologist, Racodactylus, Casey. What's Casey working on? Let's go raid into Casey Snowart and see what she's doing. That's gonna be nice. All right. Raid Casey Snowart. Excellent. One of our loyal and skilled moderators here. We'll show her some love and let's go see what kind of art she's working on over there. Casey Snowart is, an artist, an illustrator, and she's hopefully going to have some illustration work published sometime soon. So let's go see what she's up to. But thank you, everybody, for. Whoop! And how do I get rid of this hype train alert? I'm trying to do the raid here. There we go. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for your attention, for your questions, for your enthusiasm as always, and for your financial support. I couldn't be here if it weren't for you supporting science outreach here on Twitch. So thank you for that. I am grateful. We might get some rain tomorrow. We shall see. So there's a chance I will not be streaming tomorrow. Maybe 50-50 shot. We'll find out what happens when it happens. But everybody, you take care of yourselves. Thank you so much. And let's go see what Casey Snowart's up to. All right. I'll see you there. Bye-bye.